What's up, everybody? This is Todd. This is going to be a review of the Shimano Syncopate. This is not an unboxing. I don't care what comes in the box. I don't even remember what the box looked like. I've been using these things for years. This is a review after the fact. This might actually be a funeral of a reel instead of an unboxing, because I'm going to try to fix that one right there before this video is over. If I can't fix it, it's going to be a funeral where it goes in that garbage right there. Now, what do I think about this reel overall, and should you buy it? First of all, it's a piece of junk. After 3 years, this thing is going to wear out. Now, why would I buy a reel that I just said is a piece of junk? Because it's going to last you at least 2 years, all right? And it's a good, solid reel. The main thing is if it does fail, and when it does fail, the problem you're going to have is the reeling of it is going to get a little difficult, and it's going to stick. It'll start to make noises, and the other problem you'll have is when you open the bail, it won't close automatically when you turn the reel. It'll stay, and you'll have to move it. But those are all minor things. I have been using this reel, this is my third one, since 2016. I've never had one of these reels, and I want to make this point, ever fail while catching a fish. I had a fish on for 3 hours in North Carolina, Lake Norman, and fought on one of these reels, and actually on that one. And it would pull out drag, and I'd recover it, pull out drag. That reel never failed. There was a hybrid I caught at Lake Arthur in Pennsylvania for an hour and a half. Fought that thing. Again, same thing, pulled out drag, reel it back up, it pulls more drag for an hour and a half. The reel never failed. Even if you hook a fish way bigger than what this reel is designed to do, you're okay with this reel. So when I say it's a piece of junk, I mean after 3 years it's junk. Now, why would I keep buying these if it's going to fall apart after 3 years? I'm fishing everywhere from Canada all the way down to the Keys. That means that sand is getting around my equipment. I'm fishing in rain. I'm fishing in sleet and snow. Doing another cast here. My gloves are soaked all the way through. I can have a little bit of feeling left in the hands. I'm going to keep trying here. All the elements are attacking my equipment. So all these other reels that I have, and these are higher end Shimanos, that's the Sahara 4000, Sahara 2500. I don't expect any of these to last longer than 3 years. That's the reason why I stay at the price point of around $40 for my medium to light, because I know I'm going to have to replace this after 3 years. Both of these, the 2500 and 4000, work with mono, fluoro, and braid. All right, so the 2500 holds between 6 and 10 pound test mono equivalent. The 4000 is a bigger, heavier reel, bigger spool. It holds between 8 and 12 pound test mono equivalent. Both have a gear ratio of 5.2 to 1, 5.1 to 1. They're very similar. Both have 4 bearings, same guts in other words. The 4000 weighs a little bit more. It's 12.7 ounces. And the 2500 is only 9.2 ounces if the weight is an issue. The maximum drag for the 2500 is only 7 pounds, but all the fish you saw earlier were caught on the 2500. It can catch big fish. It's got the front drag, no issues with it ever sticking with the fish. The drag is very straightforward, simple. It's very precise. It does have a reverse function on it. Some of the higher end reels actually don't. All right, gonna do a little pool fishing here. So it's got the reversible crank as you would expect. I'm left-handed. Obviously, a right-handed person can use this. Take that off. And also in terms of casting, it has this, they call it Quick Fire 2 technology, where there's a little arm here, and with one finger you can pull the bail open and you can cast with one hand, which totally works. That's fine. I don't use it. That's not much of a selling point for me, because if the end of the line is fouled up and you can't feel it with your finger usually, then when you cast, you'll lose your soft bait. I fish with a lot of Senkos and soft baits, a lot of Berkeley gulps. I use the other hand to feel if there's actual slack there, so I don't lose my bait. And you saw I fish in the winter also, where I'm using gloves, and so it's just much easier to use both hands. So I don't get much use out of that function, but it's there if anybody needs it. An open face spinning reel like this, you're not going to get a whole lot faster than that, maybe 6 to 1. I'm not reeling very quickly, and you can see the top water moving fast enough to create enough action in the water. I can practically hear my neighbors. Yep, Todd lost it. Fishing in his pool again. These work. I mean, they work, but just plan to replace them in roughly 2 to 3 years. Now, what I'm going to show you on this video is how to make it last longer than 2 years and up to as long as 3 years by doing regular service. It's making a loud clicking sound inside. So I'm going to go ahead and just do my usual service of the reel and show you guys what I do. This is really basic. If you know all this, you don't have to watch, but this is just basic cleaning and service of the reel. So I'm going to take off the top part of the front drag and remove that and take the spool off right here. That's going to expose this piece that rides up here like this, and you just pop that off. Now, I put down a white paper towel first. That way you can see your pieces when you set them down. It also absorbs the oil that you put on the reel so it doesn't get on your surface. So I'll set that down. And I take the pieces off in order of succession that I remove them from. So that comes off. Then there's one little screw right here that you take out with just a basic Phillips for most reels, and take that right off. Set that there. There's one more bolt that has to come off. And I do this so often that in my tool set, I actually painted a patch on this one so I know to grab it quickly because it works with all reels. You loosen that from here, and that will take apart your reel. And I just put that in that order so you can see to put it back together once you do. With that, I remove outside part here. Now this section here is what needs to be serviced. What you'll do first is you'll use a paper towel and just dab the areas from water. Maybe you fished in the rain like I do. You'll dab off the water and grime and whatever's on there with a paper towel. Then you just use some oil, and I'll put a link below to this. You can get this at any hardware store. I'll put a link to where you get this kind of oil on Amazon, and you just oil the component parts. This is as far as you have to go. One screw and one bolt. This is as much as you have to take apart. Then I also put in some grease on the main components, the thicker, harder areas that oil won't be dripping into. Push that into the different areas, dab it a little bit, and put it back together. You also oil the bail. That's very straightforward. But like I said, sometimes the pieces inside break. The spring will break or the mechanism will break eventually over time, but this will keep it going longer. And that is usually enough to service your reel and get it working. This one, unfortunately, doing all that and even removing these components, which you do not have to remove typically to do basic service, it still is not working. There is an issue inside of this thing. There is a broken part and it cannot be salvaged. So unfortunately, I have to call it. The time of death is 3:15 p.m. on August 5th. Rest in peace, buddy. This one cannot be salvaged. But I hope that helped. Good luck out there.